Hey guys, it's Miss Pets. Earlier in the week we worked on some grammar skills with adding commas to a series and quotation marks, using them properly in dialogue. This next 2 days we are going to work on writing a TDA. So today we're going to compose the introduction to our TDA by restating and answering the question. So we're going to do the first 2 steps in race. So I can compose the introduction to a TDA by restating and answering the question. Remember, a TDA is a text-dependent analysis, so we have to depend on the text. So I have a little chart here using race to write a TDA. So today we're going to focus on the first 2 steps, the R and the A. So if you're doing a TDA and you're taking your M step, or you're doing one of your intrams, or even your monthly writing, the first thing we need to do is we need to look at our question before we even read our writing or read the passage. So my question is, how does Emma's experience show that there is no need to be afraid of change? Use details from the passage to support your answer. So let me really think about what that question means. That question means, how does some experience from the text show that she shouldn't be afraid of change? There's no need to be afraid. So as I'm reading, I need to look for different ways that her experience shows she's not afraid of change. So I have a text here. It's called A New Arrival. So I'm going to read this text and then we will answer the question. I'm going to move this I can statement out of the way so it's not so much in the way. All right, so remember, we are focusing on how does her experience show that there is no need to be afraid of change. Today was a very exciting day for me and my family. It was the day that my new baby brother came home from the hospital. I remember when I first learned that I was going to have a new baby brother. "I have great news, Emma," my mom said. "You're going to be a big sister." I just stared at my mom, and I didn't even smile. I really wasn't sure what to think, but I had all these thoughts running through my head. I worried that he would drive me crazy by crying all the time. I worried that my parents might want him to have my room. I even worried that Mom would be too busy to come and watch me at my dance competitions. So if I'm thinking right here, she's really worried. She's really scared of that change. So let's see how her experience continues to show that she should not be afraid of change. All those things I worried about seem ridiculous now. I soon forgot about most of them anyway. By the time he was ready to arrive, I didn't have a single worry. I was far too excited about getting to meet him. I was looking forward to being his big sister and helping to look after him. My baby brother was born yesterday morning at 9:51. My father came home in the afternoon and was overjoyed. He weighed 8 pounds and 1 ounce, and my parents named him Bradley. My dad says that he is the most beautiful baby. I can barely sleep the night before. I was so excited about Bradley coming home. Eventually, I drifted off to sleep just as the morning sun began to rise. I woke up as usual today at 9 o'clock. I went downstairs to enjoy some toast for breakfast. I knew that my father was collecting my mother and Bradley at 11:30. I watched TV for a while before trying to read one of my favorite books. Whatever I tried to do, I just could not take my mind off my newborn brother. I couldn't help but try to imagine what he must look like. In my mind, he had bright blonde hair and sparkling blue eyes. I wondered whether he would understand who I was when he first saw me. My daydreaming was interrupted by my dad's voice. "Let's go, Emma," he called. It was finally time to leave. I headed out to the car, and we drove toward the hospital. I couldn't stop talking as we made our way through the winding roads. The short trip to the hospital seemed to take forever. We finally arrived at the hospital. We made our way through the reception and headed to the maternity ward. As we arrived at the doors, I could see my mother at the far end. She held a small bundle wrapped in a blue blanket in her arms. Mom just smiled as I reached the end of the bed. She looked tired but extremely happy. I just stared for a few moments before Mom asked me if I wanted to meet my brother. I couldn't stop smiling and reached out in an instant. Mom held out her arms and passed Bradley to me. I took him in my arms and cradled his tiny little baby body. As I looked down, he slowly opened his eyes and gazed up at me. They were the deepest blue that anyone could ever imagine. As I stroked his face, he began to smile softly. Dad told me that his looks just like me when I was born. The thought that I was ever that beautiful made me smile. Then Bradley slowly closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep. Now, a lot of you have similar experiences to Emma, as some of you have been big brothers or become big brothers and big sisters. But remember, that's not what we're writing about. We need to write about, it's not just what we write about whatever we want. We have to answer the question. So our question, how does Emma's experience show there is no need to be afraid of change? Use details from the text, so the passage, to support your answer. So today, remember, we are just doing the introduction by restating and answering the question. So we are just doing the R and the A today. So we're just restating and answering. So when you restate, you need to take that question and turn it into a statement. So my question, how does Emma's experience show that there is no need to be afraid of change? I can take my sentence, Emma's experiences show that there is no need to be afraid of change. So I can write that as my restate. Emma's experience, oh, you guys can't see it, shows that there is no need to be afraid of change. Period. So there I just restated my question. I turned my question into a statement. And Emma's experience shows that there is no need to be afraid of change. Now I'm going to answer my question. Then tomorrow I will cite evidence and explain. So her experiences show this because it proves change can be exciting, not just scary. So I took my question, I